Each of today's readings invite us to consider a topic that many of us would probably rather ignore. Whether it be the famous line from our first reading from Ecclesiastes, "Vanity of vanities, all things are vanity." For the Jewish people, vanity would be translated as a vapor, a breath, something just blowing in the wind with no lasting value. Or the voice of St. Paul in our second reading from his letter to the Colossians, "Think of what is above, not of what is on earth." And then the challenging words of Jesus in the gospel, "For though one may be rich, one's life does not consist of possessions." However, it seems pretty clear that all three of these readings, in one way or another, are cautioning us. In fact, warning us about the spiritual dangers of wealth or over-attachment to earthly things. And I have to share with you that I don't enjoy talking about or preaching on this topic very much. And there are a couple of reasons for that. For one, it seems like this idea or this moral point often falls on deaf ears. And I'm not talking about your ears, I'm talking about mine. The message simply is a little too tough to hear at times. And the way we often choose to handle it is by ignoring it. Or if we do take it to heart, we find it hard to act upon it. Another reason it's difficult is that most of you have heard the exact same things time and time again. Or it may seem it's just another instance of the have-nots picking on the haves, as if there is something inherently wrong with having a good career or nice things, which is not the case. There is nothing wrong with accepting the blessings that God bestows upon us. But with all that said, we cannot ignore the fact that Jesus has made this point over and over again in Scriptures, emphasizing the need for a healthy attitude toward the things of this world. And of course, today's readings all point us in that exact same direction. With that in mind, I'd like to make 2 points which will hopefully will invite us to honestly reflect on what the teaching of Jesus might mean for you and me. First, while it may seem at first glance that Jesus is talking about material wealth, we should not understand this teaching in only a narrow way. Yes, Jesus uses an exaggerated example of greed and over-attachment to material things to make his point clearly and in a way that all of us can understand. Yet the greed that he addresses, the runaway ambition to get all we can in this life, extends far beyond monetary or material things. It really refers to anything we actively pursue in this life which becomes an obstacle to living the life God calls us to, a life of great mercy, generosity, compassion, and love. Put another way, whenever we go after things as if this life on earth is all that there is, we most certainly are straying from the path of faithfulness and holiness. And so in faith, you and I must ask ourselves some questions. What is there currently in my life to which I am assigning too great of an importance? What is it that is getting unhealthy amount of my attention or effort? What am I pursuing with great ambition that doesn't really mean that much and simply will not last? Vanity. So, as I said, the message is not solely about money. The second point is that we are not cautioned against an over-attachment to things of this world because of what it does to God. Rather, God cautions us in this regard because of what it ultimately does to us and to those around us. God needs absolutely nothing from us. However, he does want the very best for us. He does want us to truly flourish in incredible ways, to bloom where we are planted. He does want us to embrace life to its fullest, because that's how he created us. He knows that if we overemphasize earthly things, if we play the game that so many play, if we participate in the rat race all around us, we will almost always be disappointed, always long for more, always have a certain emptiness inside. In other words, we will likely find ourselves thinking we have the world by the tail, but in reality, it is the world that has us. My friends, today's readings offer us a chance to look at whatever in life is getting most of our attention, most of our effort, to look at what our calendars tell us about our priorities, and then ask this question, one which might have real consequences for how we express this life, how we experience it. Are we rest assured that the steps we are taking each and every day are drawing us closer and closer to our God and to those around us? Life's just too short to waste on things that really don't matter much. Rather, let's be sure to plant our feet on holy and eternal things, steps of kindness, mercy, generosity, and love. Because you see, all things are vanity.